Good morning, fifth graders. We are going to start going over the new packet. You were given one packet right when we first closed, and all those videos of going over that packet are already on YouTube. This is the new packet. Your family may have picked this up last week, or it may have been delivered to you on the bus. If you do not have this yet, you can still go and get it on Wednesday and Friday this week. If you are not doing the packet, you can do Study Island. Those are similar activities. All right, so just a really quick overview here. On day 1 and 2, there will be a video for day 1 and 2 of the packet, and that'll be done today. Tomorrow, the video for day 3 and 4 will be on YouTube. On Wednesday, the video for day 5 and 6. On Thursday, the video for day 7 and 8. And for Friday, the video for 9 and 10. All right, let's get started. Day 1 says, look at the thesaurus entries below. So there are 3 definitions for crop. You can use crop as a noun, meaning fruits and a gathering or a product, a plant. You can use crop as a verb, to trim, to cut, to detach, cutting. We often say you want to crop a picture. Another one for crop is used as a verb, means to emerge, arise, drop in, or show up, or an arrival. All right. Meaning the plants will crop. Number 1, which word would best replace, and I'm sorry, there's a typo there for replace, crops in the sentence below? Our crops will benefit from the heavy rain we got this year. So in this sentence, are they using crops meaning to cut, to arise, to trim, or plants? If you're confused, you can look and say, are they using this as a noun or verb? All right, so it's saying our crops, meaning our things, which would be a noun. So the answer would be D, plants. All right, moving on to the next one. This is actually a homonym. It can be pronounced bass or bass. All right, so when it's bass, that is an instrument that is used to play, usually a bass guitar. But in this case, they're pronouncing it as bass. All right, there's a short A there, and it's a noun. And this is a type of edible, spiny finned marine or freshwater fishes. All right, so number 2, which sentence uses the noun bass as it is defined in the dictionary entry? So they're looking for which sentence is talking about this fish. Is it A, the bass or the bass only has 4 strings compared to the guitar, which has 6 strings? B, the limit set by the game warden was 2 bass or bass per boat. C, Barry was given the honor of singing bass at the recital. D, Doug has played bass for over 10 years and is an excellent musician. All right, so the answer there would be B, because it does talk about you can only have 2 per boat. So if you're fishing, you're going to have bass on your boat. All right, number 3. Skiing is a popular winter sport. Skis are a type of blank used to glide on the snow. Ski poles are other objects used in skiing. The skier uses the poles to propel his or her body across the snow and through the air. The force moves the skier forward. Which word would best fill the blank in this passage? A, system. B, equipment. C, force. Or D, sport. All right, so skiing is a sport, so that takes that out because we're looking for skis are blank, used to glide on the snow. So we would say B, equipment. Skis are equipment, types of equipment. All right. Moving on to page 2. A large number of people enjoy swimming. There are some basic moves a swimmer has to learn in order to be comfortable in water. These strokes may seem difficult in the beginning. However, the swimmer will be able to blank in the water for a long time after some practice. All right, so what would that swimmer be able to do? A, balance, B, float, C, walk, or D, manage. It really doesn't say much about balancing, and it's true that the swimmer may be able to float, but they're talking about being comfortable in the water. So I don't think that that has to do with walking in the water, but it will show you how to manage in the water for a long time after some practice. All right, so if you are trying to float, you might be trying to swim. So there's many things that a swimmer must do in order to be comfortable. So we're going to go with manage. All right, number 5. Based on this passage, the word strokes means A, methods of swimming, B, tools for swimming, C, level of the water, D, depth of the pool. So it says these strokes may seem difficult in the beginning. All right, so that would be methods of swimming. All right, ways that you can swim, different ways to use your arms and legs. All right, Sam's report. The clouds hung low in the gray sky. The chirping of bluebirds woke me. As I woke, I got a funny feeling in my stomach. Today was the day. Today I had to do something I have been afraid to do for a long time. Mom came into the kitchen asking, "Are you ready, Sam?" "Yes," I answered quietly. I wasn't really. The school bus came on time and I sat with my friend Billy. We chatted about baseball and trading cards. It was a great way to get my mind off of what I had to do. As we approached the school, I could feel my heart beating. My hands were starting to sweat. I hated this. I entered Mrs. Owen's class. "Hi, Sam," she said as I walked in. "Hi," I said, and quickly sat in my seat. The time was near. Mrs. Owens said it was time to begin our special day. Mrs. Owens announced, "Sam, you'll be first." I got up slowly, looking at the ground. I looked up and everyone was staring. Mrs. Owens must have known I was nervous because she came by me and put her hand on my back. Then she turned to me and asked, "Sam, what did you like best about your report on Hawaii?" I thought about the things I had read about surfing. I started to talk. Before I knew it, I was telling the class about everything. I talked in front of the whole class. It wasn't scary after all. The class clapped as I finished, and Mrs. Owens was smiling. I was proud of myself. All right, so the question is, how did Sam feel at the beginning of the story? Proud, nervous, or excited? And I believe the answer is nervous because he said, I had to do something I'd been afraid to do for a long time. Now, at the end, he was proud of himself for getting up, but at the beginning, he was nervous. Okay. Going on to day 2 now. Oh, sorry. They had put an answer of happy, but we knew it was nervous, so it's okay. All right, day 2. This is kind of like what we just did on the other page. This is a homonym. It's spelled the same way. It can be pronounced produce or produce. Produce is a noun, meaning crop or vegetable or fruit. So this is like a food that you would get at the grocery store, the produce department. And this is produce, which is used as a verb. All right, like we are going to produce copies of these packets. All right, that means we're going to make them. All right, so number 1, which word would best replace produce or produce in the sentence below? So we have to use our context clues to see what they're talking about. Now it says, Bob's is my favorite grocery store because it has the freshest produce. So things that you would get in a grocery store would be crops and vegetables and fruits. So we pretty much know they're talking about produce. So the answer would be A, fruit, B, result, C, starting, or D, breed. And it matches this one, so we're going with A. All right, the next one is also a homonym. It can be used as wind or wind, but in this case they have it as a verb, so it's going to mean to wind something. So would it mean A, to turn completely or repeatedly about an object, B, to encircle or cover with something pliable, to bind with loops or layers, C, to cause to move in a curving line or path, like a winding path, or that would be an adjective, but to describe like we are going to wind around this curve, or maybe you're going to wind a clock. All right, so this one they do use wind in the dictionary, so you have, or in the sentence choices, so you have to be careful of what they're talking about. So which sentence uses the verb wind as it is defined in the dictionary entry? The wind blew off Craig's hat and it tumbled down the driveway. B, if you wind the music box, it will play a beautiful song. C, Jody was a great musician with a wind instrument like the flute. D, once the kite got caught in the wind, it flew higher in the sky. So the answer here is B, if you wind the music box, it will play a beautiful song. All right, Buster has a bath. All right. Buster hated bathing, but loved playing and chewing the hose in the garden. He could not help but dance with joy when the hose twisted like a snake when he chewed on it. Dad, Buster chewed the hose again, called out Jess, dragging the hose angrily across the yard. No matter where they kept the hose, Buster would find a way to get to it. Dad was confused, wondering how Buster managed to do so without anyone knowing about it. Jess, give Buster a bath, shouted Mom from the kitchen, not knowing what was going on in the garden. When Buster heard his name and the word bath, he ran behind the bushes to hide. Mom, I have to water the plants and pluck the weeds today, and Buster can have his bath later, Jess shouted back, making sure Buster heard her. Buster sneaked out like a mouse from his hiding place, happy that he was not going to have his bath. Jess held in her hand the hose with the holes that Buster had made and turned on the water. Buster, see how you have turned the hose into a sprinkler, Jess said, as she turned the hose toward Buster, who could not escape from the little streams of water coming from the holes, and decided he would never come close to it ever again. Number 3, a word that describes Jess is proud, careless, naive, or clever. The answer is clever, which means kind of wise. She figured out that if she told him he didn't have to have a bath, he would come back out, and that she could teach him a lesson with the hose. All right, number 4, how does Buster change from the beginning of the story to the end? A, he learns to go near the hose more often to avoid taking baths. B, he decides that he really does enjoy taking baths. C, he decides never to chew up the hose again. D, he learns that playing with the hose helps him avoid baths. All right, so the answer there is C. He decides never to chew up the hose again. All right, because he chewed it at the beginning. All right, the box. As Jamel approached his house, he saw a brown box that was as tall as he was. As he got closer, he saw that the label on the box was addressed to his mom. He also saw that it was sent to her by F. Schwartz. When he saw that name, he got really excited. He knew that the box had to be from F.A.O. Schwartz, the big toy store. He dragged the box inside the house. Upon getting the box inside, he found a note from his mom saying that she would be back in a few minutes and that his older brother Darnell was in charge. Jamel could not wait that long. After spending a few seconds pacing back and forth, he decided that his mom would never get home. He knew he had to figure out what was in the box. He shook the box, but whatever was in it was packed so tightly that it did not make a sound. He then decided to poke a hole in the box so he could peek into it. He poked the hole but could not see anything, so he made the hole bigger. Just as he thought he saw something, he heard his mom say, "Jamel, what do you think you're doing?" Jamel said, "I'm trying to figure out what you bought me from FAO Schwarz." "That's not from FAO Schwarz," said his mom. "It's a white tiger rug I bought on eBay. When Darnell goes to college, I'm going to turn his room into a place to display my white tiger collectibles." Jamel responded, "You mean it's not for me?" and then wandered into the kitchen complaining how he never got anything cool. Which of the following words best describes Jamel? Calm, impatient, helpful, or generous? All right, so the answer there is impatient, because it does, some of the clues up here say he could not wait that long for his mom to get home. He paced back and forth, and we know that he was poking around it. So he couldn't wait to ask permission. All right, and I do believe, let's see if that is the end of day 2, and we will go over the other ones on the next video.